Hey everybody, my name is Nia Allen and I am Third Culture.
Welcome back, everybody. This is part 2 of our conversation. Sit down with Nia Allen.
Yeah.
So you just got done your MDiv at
Yes.
Vanderbilt, right? Nashville. You've been in there. You're traveling with the Women of Faith tour,
Yeah.
traveling with some Cece and Nicole C. Mullen. So how do you know what's next?
I don't.
You
I
didn't?
was like, I did not. Honestly, I graduated and what did I do after that? You know, Cece started her church. Her and her husband started a church, and the Nashville Life at the time it was in there. They started in their living room, and so I was there with them and helped them and became a part of their worship ministry.
Wow.
While I was there, I did that for at least a couple of years, while also kind of teaching at serving like an adjunct professor in Nashville. And then so after MDiv, a year after that. I knew I wasn't done, and so I started looking at the doctoral programs. That's what I was like, how did I get from yes? So a year, I taught for a year, and then I literally just started looking at researching just different DMin programs. Again, kicking and screaming. I just knew that this was what God, was calling me to do. And I was like, Father, why? There's more school. And so literally I Googled DMin programs and Fuller and APU. Fuller and APU is a Pacific University. They're both in Southern California. And I like the course offerings at APU. And so I was gravitated toward those. And so I applied and I got in.
Wow.
My first year in the program, I was going back and forth between California and Nashville. And class intensives like on the weekends. But then a year in, again, I just sensed that pull west, and I took another faith move, and I moved to California.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in Nashville 9 years, and so just seasons. When
sure.
seasons just come to an end. And so, so Cali school was kind of one of the things that kind of drew me out to California.
Okay.
I took a leap of faith, and while finishing school as well, stayed with a friend that I went to Berkeley with, just another full circle moment. And the program, the DMin program was 2.5 years. And so, but school was one of the things that kind of got me out to California. Yeah.
So you graduated, Dr. Nia Allen.
Oh gosh.
Does that feel weird? Or
Yes, it does.
Yeah?
It does.
Does anyone call you that?
Only in certain settings.
Yeah. It's like in the music world, like unless you're like Dr. Dre or something.
Right,
like,
I know. Like, it's so weird. And I battle with it. If I can be honest, I'm just like, sometimes I'll do stuff like I'll teach it or do like clinics at CBU, California Baptist University. In the academic setting, I'll definitely use it like that, but music, I kind of like, I don't want to know. I don't know if I want to be known as recording artist Dr. D. I don't know. And some people like use it. I'm just like, I use it when I need to. I'll just say that.
No,
so more in like
smart.
Academia.
Hey, you earned it and you paid for it.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And I have resources on worship. So when I want to get those out that I've actually been working on. So definitely like with that, I'll definitely use it.
It's so, I mean, and all joking aside, it's absolutely powerful, like, because I think so many times the music historically, or at least in a contemporary, like in the last 20 years, people are doing worship in the modern setting, are usually not thought of as intellectuals or academics. Like it's more of like, I can play 4 chords, or I want to be a music whatever, and I'm just going to serve at the church until that happens. And we get that kind of stigma, but like someone who's put time into it, investment, and not just learn how to do what you do, but you learn why we do what we do, which I think is so important, that we train people in those worship settings of not just how, but why. And I think that's so, it makes you that much more valuable, because you have a life outside of the platform, so to speak, in the classroom, which is so huge. So when you're you're in the doctoral, tell us what your focus of the program was.
Yes, worship and racial reconciliation in the church.
Come on, racial reconciliation. But we all love each other.
Don't we?
We don't need that. Why'd you waste your time on that?
Right. Vaughn, you gotta get me in trouble today. So, No, honestly, in my travel, I mean, with women of faith, with just and just traveling a lot, I would see a lot of separation in the church as it relates to race. And so that is really what sparked my interest in this topic. I was like, how do we even get to this point? Why are we so separate and how do we get here? So it forced me to just research just the history, and specifically, and I know there's so many different cultures, but specifically I couldn't, do every single culture, but specifically the rift between black and white, especially for the United States. I mean, blacks came, enslaved, that whole thing, and just the creation of the black church, how it started just being birthed out of like prejudice and discrimination.
About that, like what you discovered.
That would, the formation of what we know traditionally and historically as the black church are these predominantly African American churches, denominations that were formed because they weren't accepted by their white counterparts, and so blacks began forming their own spaces of worship, a place where they had a voice, a place where they had autonomy, a place where they could be celebrated, and it was during a time where, society, there were laws where they couldn't even drink from the same drinking fountain. You know what I'm saying? So the black church stood as like a pillar in the black community, and so my point is like if that's how it was birthed, then what is really needed for true reconciliation, and I argue that, healing, like we need to acknowledge it, first of all, acknowledge that it was an issue, acknowledge that it exists, and then repent, and repentance has taken place. Like in my studies, I've seen that like some big church denominations, repentance has taken place, forgiveness has taken place. But just healing and true restoration, in my opinion, is still needed, and just the desire to worship together, and just the desire. You have to want it. You have to want it, and I'm not even in my studies. It's funny, you go back and forth, and I'm like, am I calling for every church to be multicultural? And I do believe that is the heart of God. I do believe that our worship on earth here is preparation for worship in heaven. Revelation 7:9, every nation, every tongue. When we get to heaven, there's not going to be a black section, there's not going to be a white section, a Korean section. There's not going to be these different sections. It will be, all who have placed their faith in Jesus Christ, declaring salvation belongs to our God, and so what does that look like here on earth, know? And I understand the value. I struggle, to be honest. I understand the value of the black church. I know what it does, but I also know how it was birthed. And so it's like, so what do we do with that? So I feel like that intentionality of, okay, yes, we have the black church. Yes, we have these predominantly white churches, but can we be intentional in creating spaces where we come together?
That's good.
Yeah.
So how do you think we can take steps toward that?
Intentionality. I think building relationships, building genuine relationships, not just trying to fulfill a diversity quota, or we have so many black people, we have so many Asian people, but it really is a heart thing. You have to, I think it starts with the heart. I've been a part of of situations where I was maybe brought in and I felt like they wanted diversity on the platform, but that's kind of where it stopped, but just that, just that communal and just that interaction, and who are you who are you eating dinner with, at the dinner table, and so what they say, proximity breeds empathy, and just like, who are you having conversation, who are you in daily communication with, it's so much more beyond the stage, and just so building genuine relationships with people outside of Sunday morning.
That's really good, and I do believe it's a long-term process in terms of building out of that, because it's not that you argue, like, because I totally believe in multicultural churches, of course we're part of one, and but then I also see that there's a culture in the multicultural it's as beautiful as it is, there's pros and cons to, there's weaknesses that it has too, because is in the inclusive effort, we lose some of the cultural beauty
Yeah.
that every culture inherently has in different spaces. And then, because I also see, like, it's not that you want diversity, but the diversity that naturally or the segregation that would happen just because of language barriers and cultural eating habits, like, food's a big thing of culture. And, I know Koreans don't, it's not that they don't want to, everyone doesn't like kimchi.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So it's like, and they're very, after church, most Korean churches are like, they're eating together. And it becomes, if you're not part of that culture, it can be very kind of offsetting because like it's a very monocultural experience.
Yeah.
But yet there's some beauty that comes out of those settings. And even like when you look at say the Black church, which you're referring to, like the music that's come out of that experience that is so enriching. I mean, it's interesting to me too that it's not even just the church; it's influenced the music of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, like the sound of that church.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so moving and powerful.
Yeah.
Like that came out of their pain. I mean, it was just it's you get chills thinking about how it's influenced modern day R&B, gospel, and jazz, and things like that. So, it's like you don't want to lose that, but it's I think it's a both and in some ways, and it's not like I want you to embrace other cultures. I want you to stay in your. I think there's like a gifting.
Yeah.
I think so too. But there's beautiful hymns that have come out of the Presbyterian Church and the high church experience.
Yeah.
And
And let me, and let me just I struggle with the multicultural, multi-ethnic. It's like, because it's like you said, it seems like it's taken on like a culture of itself. I feel like if we were really truly multicultural, and that, like, we would include the CCM, we would include the gospel, we would include, like, that's a lot of work.
Music,
that's a lot of work.
Stuff.
I know, but it's
man.
like, but who really wants to? That's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of sacrifice.
Sure.
So I really feel like that would be a definition of true, not just it not being so mono, but like really embracing the different cultures and ethnicities within the church, which
it's really hard.
It's hard. I mean, it's work.
And I think to the point of what you were saying earlier, it cannot be contrived.
Yeah, it has to be. Yes,
it's got to be genuinely wanted.
But
I think too, like, it genuinely appears, because like I think a church should be much like a city that reflects who lives there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
I don't think we should try to force Asian staff when there's no Asians that live in this area or something. You know what I mean? So but it's hard because, and I think the need is for the reach for the other. Yeah. Because if you can't stay in one camp, like, even if it's multicultural. Yeah. Right? Because it's like we're saying, and I think what we're both kind of saying without saying is that, like, multicultural, even music, like, is great, but it becomes its own thing after a while. And if we all sound like that, how multicultural is that? Right. Absolutely. When we sound now we're all the same. Yeah. Like, because we're just trying to borrow, and we're trying to put all this, and it can be a bit contrived. So I think the need for authenticity is really. Honestly, I refer to Bruce Lee a lot. I got posters and, like,
I love it.
And he talks about, like, the third culture mindset. Like, he embodied that, like, in terms of the way he went about his martial arts experience. And he's like to be water, and he's like, if you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. If you put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. It can crash or it can flow. Like, he's like, be water, my friend.
Wow.
And the power of that, he's like be where you are. Like, and be like the art of honestly expressing himself was what he was known for, and the art of having no way as way. That was his philosophy of, like, I'm not going to come to you with a preset set of responses in terms of fighting, but like, I think that's that's a way you engage culture. It's like you don't come with this preset of values and predicting the response of the other person, but you flow and you respond to them organically in the moment. And like that's how you engage, and that's how you become more honest to yourself. And I think that could be part of the healing process too. But I think it's so important to have people like yourself that are studying it and can influence change on the academic end too, because I think it's great. It's so needed, not just in the experiential, but also the creating resources and being able to teach in educational settings of this divide that we have that needs work on. Yeah. So with that whole thing, like, do you have like books in you? Do you have materials, teaching courses?
Yeah. Well, I did a live recording, so I have music, and one of the songs we did was "Every Nation," and that was the heart of that night, and I shared it that night, and it was based off of Revelation 7:9. It's just a desire to see more unity as it relates to the body of Christ. But I say all that to say, once the album comes out, I have been also working on a devotional. Just talking about just increasing your just spiritual growth and intimacy, with the Lord. And so, yes, I am working on them. Are they available right now? Not yet. But they are in the works. They are in my computer. But no, I'm honestly, they've been revised, right? But they will be available. No. And so I'm kind of in that prep building stage. But yes, to answer your question, and it's funny, I do sense that I'm supposed to do like a teaching, like an online training as it relates to worship and this topic. So yes, it's coming. It definitely is coming.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So when can we expect some of the music?
Oh Lord. the dreaded question. No, what is this, February? At this point, spring, summer? No, summer is probably the late spring, summer would be realistic. Okay. Yeah. And honestly, and it's so hard. As you know, it's just, I just got to trust God's timing. I genuinely do. And I go back and forth every other day, but I'm just like, Lord, help me just to wait on you and wait on your timing and wait on your way. And no, I was talking with... And the single. Right? I have to live out this. He'll give you a song and make you live it out. I'm just like, Lord, help me to wait. But I like, but it's true. And that God is a redeemer of time. Sometimes, honestly, just as artists, you're just like, what's taking so long? Or, Father, did I miss it? Or, but you got to trust that God's timing, his ways are higher than ours, and that he's working behind the scenes. He goes ahead of us. Yeah. And so I have to just trust that. And as hard as it can be at times, where I'm just like, Lord, what is going on? I have to just trust. And Lord, help that to be my response is, Lord, I trust you. And just, I invite you into this situation, like seriously, because I'm getting anxious, anxiety, social media. We live in such a fast-paced society that it's just like, you can be anxious, but it's like once I take time to just quiet myself and get back to that secret place, that safe place, God reminds me that he's with me. He knows. You know what I'm saying? He knows exactly where I am, and I just got to trust him. So,
it's the tension of like, being diligent, but also not getting in the way.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, it's so hard. It's a tension that we have to live in, and it's
daily.
So hard.
Yeah.
Because I think some days the word is sit.
Right.
And the other days is to get up.
Go. Right. So you're like, okay, what we doing today? What we doing today? Yeah. No, that's real. That's so real.
Well, I want to, we've gotten into some deep, great stuff. I like to maybe a little bit lighthearted stuff. Yeah. Okay. So like, what are some dream musical experiences you've had? Like, I guess singing with Cece is one of them. Yeah. Any other that stick out to you as like, wow, this was a moment. Like, even if it was just like meeting somebody or something, or getting to sing on stage with somebody.
I think meeting Stevie Wonder. I feel like that was
he's that for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
How did that happen? What
it
were
was
you doing?
So impromptu. It was at church at West. At West Angeles. Back in the day.
Wow.
But no. I would say that was probably.
And you got to sing with him?
No, just me. Just got to meet
shake
him. His hand. I like shake his hand and say hello. I'm like, hi.
No, that's. I get it. I get it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, traveling with one of your huge influences, it doesn't get much better than that. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like. That's amazing.
I'd probably say, that probably was a highlight. Sandy Patty. Although I didn't, getting it now. We did get a chance to sing behind her, like Women of Faith, and so that was a pretty extraordinary experience.
That is.
She's like, oh, yeah.
That's
she's
a
real
unique
well.
instrument right there. Yeah.
She like between just opera and classical, and she's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still going.
Oh,
yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Amazing. Drink. What would be like if you had a bucket list of like a duet? Like who would it be? Yeah.
I love Brandy Norwood, and I'm sorry. I'm like, to this day, I'm like, Brandy, I love her. I mean, I grew up like, Cece's probably old, like when I was older, but like growing up as a kid, like I want to be down, like high school, like Brandy Norwood was probably my, like if I got a chance to do a duo with Brandy, I would probably, y'all would have to come and get me off the floor somewhere, because I'm like, I just know I love her. I totally love her voice and just her gift. She's such a she's just a gift. So that would probably be a dream.
Yeah,
I love her voice.
Wow. Yeah. No, there's not many like her, man. Yeah, like she's. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Vocally, she's like for me, like on the whole.
It's amazing. Yeah. And still doing it.
Yeah.
Well, so how can folks get in touch with you?
Website social media. Everything is Nia Allen Music. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Okay. I'm trying to get better, y'all. Yeah. They tell me I don't post enough, but I'm trying to. I'm like, oh Lord, the introvert in me is like, oh my goodness gracious.
How do you balance that though? Because I too, like I cringe at the kind of the what you're told is the need to kind of engage, and it's really hard for me, like as an introvert. How do you deal with that?
I'll go back and forth. I mean, it's a day it's something different every day. I mean, I try to honestly, because it can get overwhelming, it can get stressful if you let it. I think it's just your perspective, and it's just kind of like. And then it's just like, oh, wait, what am I gonna post? Am I just posting just to brag and let people know? So it's like, what's the heart of my post? And I overthink everything. I'm like, am I posting this because I want people to, it's just like,
at least you're aware. Like, cause some people post and they're not even aware. What do you mean? Thinking to myself, what do you mean, narcissist? No.
Lord, it's so much. I'm like, so honestly, I've been trying to like be intentional about like, I mean, if I post a picture, obviously, but if I do a scripture, I'm like, Lord, let it encourage somebody. Father, whoever likes it, just let it encourage. Let us bless somebody. I'm like, Lord, let that be my heart, because it's really easy to compare or people don't like it. It's just all that, and I'm like, Lord, I cannot. This will not destroy my day. I'm not doing it. You know. So, Good so it's a daily work. Yeah. I'm kind of just kind of letting it be, not overwhelm me or overtake me. Trying not to. Yeah.
Now, you're obviously a woman of faith, and you have a strong home relationship, like with your mom and dad and family setting. But what would you say, like, moving through the different stages of life? Obviously, your faith, of course, has been like a solid foundation. What are some other things that may have been like help you stay the course, help encourage you, that you use, that you lean on?
Yeah. I mean, faith is huge. Yeah. My mom is we're probably closer now that I'm older than I was when but she's probably one of my closest friends. It's grown into a friendship.
That's beautiful.
And so we talk at least a couple times a week. And so she's such a constant encourager in my life. So I would say just my mother is a constant, even just wise counsel, when I'm questioning or what do you think about this? She definitely helps to kind of keep me on that when I'm making decisions, life decisions, so I love my mom. I'm grateful. I have a really close relationship with my mom.
That's beautiful.
And just great friendships. You need people. You need a community. I have a sister. We didn't grow up together. We didn't grow up in the same household together, but so I kind of grew up as an only child. So I have that I'm good by myself, man. You know what I'm saying? Mentality. But the older I'm getting, I just realize the value of community and just genuine relationships, and that you need people. You need genuine people in your life that can help. Iron sharpens iron. We can't live this life alone. And I'm still single. Thank you, Jesus. Waiting patiently. No, but I'm still single. Thank you, God. And, and so it can get a little lonely at times. So I'm like, I need friends. I can't do this by myself. Sure. So just being intentional about, they say if you want a friend, be a friend. So even this year is just being intentional about, me being a friend and reaching out to people. So, and that's not comfortable for me. I have to get outside of my comfort zone and just take that step.
That's good.
So
So with some of the life lessons that you've learned, going through the different degrees, the different seasons, the different cities, different stages of life, what is something that you would, like a one lesson that you think you would like to share with someone who's, say, I'd like to do music, or I'd like to be in worship, or I'd like to even be involved in racial reconciliation to some degree? Like,
that was a lot. Now, Vaughn, you just said 3 different things. I'm like, now which one? Wait, which one? Okay. So you said I like to do. Go ahead.
So how about I want to do music. That's a hard one.
That's I mean, and there's so
it's
many. It's
never been easier to make it.
Yeah.
But it's never been harder to get heard.
Yeah, because you have so much access, social media, you can post, and some can go viral tomorrow, know. I would just say, do it for the right reasons. Yeah. Keep your heart pure and don't look at the response, because not everyone's going to like or embrace what you do, but there will be some who do. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like being okay with that this one song that you have may not be called to the world, you know what I'm saying? But it will encourage somebody. That's good. So being okay with that, you know, and not allowing the pressure of
that's so good
social media and just all that to discourage you, but to keep doing it and keep your heart pure as you're doing it, as especially when it comes to music or worship. Just that, Lord, your prayer being, Father, let it encourage somebody, let it inspire somebody, that being the heart behind it, not just I want to be famous or I want to, want to be known. But when it comes to worship, it's like, Lord, I pray that this points people towards you, That's I think it's that heart. It's the heart behind what are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Yeah. And if that remains pure, then you'll be good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hard. That's good.
Hard, but good.
Well, Dr. Nia, thank you so much for your time. Sincerely. You are an inspiration to me, and I know that to many others. And I think the work that you're doing is meaningful. I think it's needed. I think it's powerful. And I think it's beautiful.
Thank you,
please keep creating. Please keep building bridges for our church, to bridge that divide and make us better. So everyone, I want you to go check Nia out online, follow her, get the new music that's coming out whenever it comes out.
Summer. No, we speaking it. Summer. It will be out. Summer. Late spring, early summer.
It is.
Yes, it is.
So please go follow her. Check her out musically. If you've never heard her sing, you are in for an absolute treat.
Thank you.
So, Nia, God bless you. Thank you so much for doing. Please come back and visit us.
I definitely will.
All right. Thank you.
Guys.
Thanks for checking us out.
Thank you.
Later.